up for Miss Suzie Q.
So thank you so much for having me. It has been over the river and through the woods kind of a day. I flew into Boise and drove in, and apparently I think I just missed the highway closing or something, so there was a little bit of a storm. I'm from Denver, Colorado, though. It's fine. You know, we get snow. It's okay. I know how to drive in it. It's all right. But it's been a journey, so thank you very much for having me. And thank you for the beautiful drumming. I think that's a beautiful way to call the spirit in when we start doing things. That makes me happy. And thank you very much for your recommendations, by the way. Miss Lee, is it? The new Jim Crow is, I think, should be required reading for every single person on the planet, honestly. Michelle Alexander. So read that, The New Jim Crow, The Age of Mass Incarceration. It's an important book. But it's not what I came here to talk to you about. I came here to talk to you about Black history. That's what we're going to talk about. And there are a lot of people that don't really ever get talked about in Black history that made really, really significant contributions. And I think one person who had a really, really significant impact on the Black community throughout the United States and around the world, really. He's not really often recognized for his contributions and the effects that he had on Black America. It's Ronald Reagan. Is single-handedly responsible for the Jerry curl. The afro is dead, and standing in line to point its finger with the rest of his accusers, he annihilated Black pride like Nicaraguan civilians. In the 70s, everyone wore an afro proudly, including white people, fist picks and crowns, catching the sun and waving like, I'm gonna make you love me. Black is beautiful, curvy, skinny, freckled, and free, and standing coolly in your own natural skin. And honey, natural was in, like bell-bottoms and hoops, sequins and jumpsuits, and move in any way that moved you until the 80s. I'm guessing it started around 82, too young to remember, but old enough to do the math. And from what I can count, we got lost in the mix, caught up in the curl process. And if you listen closely, you can hear our self-esteem breaking like split ends, shattering like the front windows of the Black Panther Party office in Oakland with the bricks signed FBI, CIA, and of course, then Governor Ronald Reagan. They won that war with drugs, then want to talk about a war on drugs. Our chemically induced defeat trickling down neck, slow and warm like activator. Listen closely when they tell you that you are not beautiful, that you were never beautiful, that you must become beautiful, that they will sell you everything you need to be beautiful. They will stretch and snip your skin for you. They will bleach you over the counter. They will teach you to bite off your own lips, and they will sell them back to you. Listen closely when they tell you that all of your features are beautiful, but only when featured on anyone but you. I remember when wearing fake hair would get you clowned at school, or wearing too short skirts or low-cut shirts, or anything that fit tightly enough to show off a perceived lack of value. We were responsible for each other, to each other. We had sense enough to wear our low self-opinions on the inside, but deeper still, we know that our souls have never needed product to glow, that beautiful is a big enough word to belong to us all, like love. We can share it, pass it around like biscuits at Sunday dinner, make sure everybody gets some, take seconds if you need to. We can always make more. Beauty is infinite. More beauty is being born from a belly laugh. As we speak, a fresh perm is being sweated out on a dance floor. A couple is kissing for the first time. A girl is smiling at herself in the mirror after picking it out. And no government policy, no amount of defeat, no television commercial could ever truly compete with how fly she feels right now. So Mr. Reagan, and 1980s, wherever your spirits may be, please stay there. My song does not summon your return, simply a melody, a remedy to reclaim the beauty we inherently own. So I really enjoy blaming everything on Ronald Reagan, particularly the Jerry curl. Does everyone know what a Jerry curl is? I know some of you are too young, you never saw it. Oh, okay, have we all seen the Eddie Murphy film of the 80s, Coming to America? Okay, the Jerry curl, remember the, just let your soul glow, remember that? Okay, that's the Jerry curl. And it's Ronald Reagan's fault. There are so many things I want to talk to you about. Oh, there's so many books to read. I was on the airplane today and I was reading Women, Race, and Class by Angela Davis. And you know, it's frustrating that she has really been reduced to this icon of an Afro when she's such a brilliant and amazing thinker and writer and human. So I highly recommend reading everything she writes. But yeah, I think I'd like to tell you, well, also before we get too deep into it, so I'm kind of a lot, right? So I like for this to be as much of a dialogue as possible. I hear myself talk every single day. It's not that exciting to me. I love being able to interact with you as much as possible, and especially since we're such a small group tonight, I think that we can do that. We can have conversations. So if I say something, if you have questions, comments, concerns at in between any piece, feel free to raise your hand and we'll chat about it. I say some things that might incense you at times, that might confuse you at times, that might frustrate you, that might make you feel all kinds of feelings, and that's completely okay. I have felt them too, and it's all right. Please know that everything that I write is really genuinely written from a place of love, and I hope that it comes through that way. But we can always have a dialogue, so I hope that, so at this point, before I go forward, do we have any questions, comments, concerns? Did I scare you already? I haven't even started yet, you guys. That hasn't even begun. Much scarier than this as I keep going. Okay, we're good? All right, so another person who doesn't get spoken of often, and who we don't often learn about in school. Sometimes in college you might hear his name. Before that you won't really at all. Who here is familiar with Huey P. Newton? A couple, okay. A couple, a few, yeah. So who here is familiar with the Black Panther Party? Okay, yeah, everyone's got some basic idea. You've heard of them. So Huey P. was one of the founders of the Black Panther Party. And he died in the 80s. And he's not, I think they're a wildly misunderstood group of people. So if you want to know more about them, there are some really great documentaries, there are some great books, et cetera, et cetera. And then of course we have an internet now, so there's that. So you can pretty much learn anything you want to right now. But this is about Huey P. And about community and about leadership and how we react to it. Dear Huey, how your spirit haunts me. Your unrest turns in my belly and I am reduced to fingers and thumbs. I clap my hands, stomp my feet, shout and sing, giving voice to every element and accent of we, recovering from revolutionary suicide attempts. I haven't forgotten you, Huey. I would have brought you soup. I won't set roses upon your grave. My work involves shovels, I dig. My work involves hammers, I build. My work involves torches, I burn. My tongue salty with your memory, I miss you tremendously. Your spirit still speaks, reaching far beyond the mask of afro picks and balled up fists, reaching for handfuls of sky as if dreams can be manipulated by fingers. You're still trapped inside my psyche like an open wound, clotted blood in ears from hemorrhages of compromise, comfortable as bloody pillowcases. You can get used to anything. I sing for you, Huey, as if your spirit only waited for me to wear you. I bear your burden as a truth teller taking up arms. You call me from my resting place to serve my loved ones compassion in carefully woven stews and handmade bowls. We remember community this way. We remember you this way. We honor us this way. We carry picks and pistols and prayers in our pockets, stretch fingers toward the sky and close fists once we can feel you. The struggle to embrace ourselves enough to overcome is still a struggle. I haven't forgotten you, Huey. I pour chicken noodle libations in your honor while I respect my lips, my tongue, my voice enough to use them, spewing bits of your spirit from my restless belly as a mother bird. I see your shadow dance in the flicker of every candle. I see your afro in spring trees, and I'm sorry that they hated you, Huey, when you couldn't perform miracles in anything more than the appearance of work, sacrifice, discipline. Change is no magic trick, and they let you die for this, as stamping out a torch, laying down a hammer, burying a shovel and shooting up instead of out. And I'm sorry if it's a lost cause, Huey. And I wonder if it's a lost cause, Huey. Loving my community so unconditionally when the streets digest the blood and bones of slain soldiers and pave over their remains like so many unmarked graves. What value is my bloodshed when the world washes out my name and changes my story? I'm telling it now, Huey, while I still have the breath as I am being consumed in handfuls, and I'm sure this sounds familiar. I sleep cradled in your footprints. I can't forget you, Huey. I can't forget me, Huey. I've tried, but the Gestapo march of time reminds me that there's no place left to hide, not even in heroes. Tell me, Huey, was it worth the sacrifice? Your blood still flows through the gutters over broken bottles of dreams and messages forgotten like you. We don't talk about you at school, Huey. We've been lulled by dropping bodies so deep in a trance we don't remember what hope is. Only the ignorant pray. The rest of us get used to it, as even bad dreams are less alarming than waking to this. And who are we to free the unwilling? Perhaps your spirit calls to spill my blood onto the streets so we can finally mingle. Perhaps you need me the way I need you, and we can only rest when together. You deserve a love letter from me to you, Huey. I will never forget you. The struggle continues with no end in sight. Thank you. So do we have any questions, comments, concerns? I know that was a lot, right? Yeah. Huey was a complicated man. He was also a pretty brilliant poet and a writer. So if you don't know about Huey P., look him up. Let me see if I remember one of his pieces. So he wrote a book, I referenced that in the poem. One of the books he's most well known for writing is called Revolutionary Suicide. But one of his poems sort of starts to break that down. He's a pretty deep thinker. Let's see if I know it. I heard God call. I got my gun and waited. When he arrived, I took the gun from my head. That's Huey P. So he was a pretty interesting fellow. So I definitely recommend looking him up and reading some things about him. So this next piece, so no questions, comments, concerns? We're all there? You're still with me? We're okay? All right, cool. So I do a lot of traveling. I go all over the country. I experience new people on a pretty daily basis, and they experience me. It's really fun. And a lot of times people have very interesting reactions to me. And has anyone ever had someone give you a compliment folded up in a sandwich insult, right? A little insult, yeah. So I remember a woman telling me once, as I had on a red outfit, she said, not a lot of people can wear red. And went on about her business, right? Like, is that, I don't know how I feel about what you just said to me, right? So I get a lot of interesting reactions. And so this piece is compiled of a number of the reactions that I get from people upon first meeting me. It's called Black Hole Mouth. You could be so pretty if you would just do this one thing. If you would just do this one thing. If you would just get in your place, Suzie Q. I saved it for you. Get in your lane, Suzie Q. You are too big for your britches, but you can hide in my bed. I made it for you. Get in your place, Suzie Q. You should be more grateful. Some people don't even know where their place is. I saved this space for you. Maybe you should be more quiet, and maybe you should cover up some of that up, Suzie Q. Maybe, I'm sorry. Guys, can I start over? Is that okay? I just completely got tongue-tied, and it's kind of a steamroller poem, and it just steamrolled me, and I'm sorry. It's been a day. Can I start over? Is that all right? We're going to start over. This is called Black Hole Mouth, and little recorder, we're starting over. You could be so pretty if you would just do this one thing. If you would just do this one thing. If you would just get in your place. Get in your place, Suzie Q. I saved it for you. Get in your lane, Suzie Q. You are too big for your britches, but you can hide in my bed. I made it for you. Get in your place, Suzie Q. Maybe you should cover some of that up, Suzie Q. Or maybe you should show it all. Or maybe you should shake it, Suzie. Maybe you should shake it. I don't want it, though. But you should want me to, and I might if you try sometimes. And what kind of name is that anyway, Suzie Q? Is that some kind of cultural thing? And did that come from your mother's people? And what kind of people are they anyway? And what kind of people are you? And what are you, Suzie Q? Who told you that you do not need permission to speak? Who are you to use words like that? How dare your mouth be so big and not smiling? And maybe you should be more quiet. And maybe you should whisper in my ear first before you speak out loud, Suzie. Everyone can tell you don't belong here. And if your feet were not so big, Suzie, and if you were not so black, Suzie, or if you could just be black enough, or maybe if your hips could narrow and your lips tuck in, if your hair could be more polite, if your face would just apologize, always arguing with itself so publicly, if you could just be pretty in a way that doesn't scare me. And why you always gotta scare me, Suzie, and why do you spill over all of the cups and be so impossible to fold into boxes? And where is the cage that can contain the inferno of your ideas? And why is your mouth on fire, Suzie? Why is your mouth always on fire? If you could be more, if you could be more simple, if you could be less black hole, if you could suck yourself in and swallow without taking all of us with you, we could forgive you, Suzie. We could forgive you. Thank you. Hurrah for do-overs. Thanks for giving me a second chance, guys. Any questions, comments, concerns? That's good. So did you guys have a good Valentine's Day? Did you celebrate? Yeah? A few of you? Yeah? Who's madly in love right now? Oh, it's just Marcus. Oh. Is anyone bitter and jaded? No one's gonna admit it? Come on, come on, come on. Come on. It's not just me. I know it, I know it. There's You turned 21. Happy birthday! You turned 21. That's so magical. That's exciting. It is. It's like you finally have access to everything, pretty much. Except you can't run for president or rent a car yet, I think. Those are the two big things that are still coming. So give it time. Well, I'm going to read a love poem. Let's do some love poetry, yeah? We good with love poems? Yeah? All right, so this is short. Who else writes poetry in here? We got a few. Okay, yeah. So do we got anyone writes haiku? You like haiku? Okay. I'm going to give you a quick haiku. Maybe it'll change your mind. Maybe it'll inspire you to start digging on haiku a little bit, right? This is haiku for his new girlfriend. The only reason he loves you is because you remind him of me. There's the haiku. So you can do a lot of fun things in 17 syllables, I'm saying though. And it's handy to have things like that ready. So keep that in your mind so that next time you run into your ex and you're picking up your takeout in your sweatpants and you're looking all just not your best day, and they're out on the date with someone that's way more attractive than you are, you have something to say when you're like awkwardly carrying your packages out, right? So that's what you say, right? The only reason he loves you is because you remind him of me, and then you just walk away. Just keep walking, that's it. Don't give him any time for questions, comments, concerns. In that vein, yeah, I think we're gonna do some more bitter love poems. You guys with that? Are we good with that? Okay, I think we're gonna do a couple of them. Oh, I'm telling you, I had a year where I was really thinking like, man, I should be on tour with Adele right now. We would be besties. It's the brilliant thing about Adele. I think everybody thinks that we would be, like everyone that you look and you're like, if we knew each other, we would be best friends, right? Don't we all feel that way about her? But I think in my case, it's really true. And I think everyone thinks that. Yeah, she's quite appealing. On that note, this is called You Ruin Everything. I love you. This is neither fair nor reasonable. I hope I hurt you. I hope I ruined your life. I hope you vowed to treat the next one better than you treated me. I hate how well you treat her. I still love you. It is a fierce injustice. I hope the hole I left in your life will always whistle. I hope I am the one that got away. I burned every picture of you. I deleted your name from my phone. You ruin everything. There are too many jokes that only you get. They are not funny anymore. I still email them to you sometimes. You are a diamond ring on someone else's finger. You are the meal at the 5-star restaurant that made me vomit. You are my dream home and the termites in its bones. You are a shipwrecked yacht. You are a dream, a nightmare coming true. You are the snowman on a first warm day. You are a sunset on a moonless night. You are a sweaty 2 a.m. pulling me away from what would have been a good fight. You are two lovers that do not make love. You are new sandals in a snowstorm. You are a kiss on a cheek and the smell of another woman. You are Central Park and the autumn leaves and the giant moon and the rats in the bushes. You are a bad poem. You are the midnight kiss and the morning remorse. You are the birthday phone call. You are a wedding gown after the divorce. You are a photograph of a dead friend that I still want to remember as living. You are a great poem. You are the best poem. You are the best poem that breaks my heart. You broke my heart. Several cardiologists confirmed this. The echocardiogram showed that there was a piece of it missing. The blood kept flowing backward, and maybe that's why it's so hard to let go. It is a fierce injustice. I left your book in your mailbox. I am not sure the world is big enough. Even the moon looks like you sometimes. This is neither fair nor reasonable. You cannot have me now. I do not want you. I do not want to want you. You are a parking lot conversation after everything has closed, and we cannot stay, and we cannot go. I do not want to write for you. You do not love me. I used to tell people it was complicated. I sometimes still dream in your voice. I hope you burned everything that reminds you of me. I hope your smile will always bear my signature. I hope you will always miss me. I hope I ruined your favorite song. The hole in my life whistles. So that is your lesson number 1 in never dating poets, guys. We write things like that about you in front, and we say them in front of people. I'm one of the nicer poets, so I don't actually say his name. But not all of us are that nice. So this is a love poem also. I wrote this for Valentine's Day last year. And so I was invited to speak at a rally at the ICE Detention Center in Denver, where we were encouraged to write love poems for the detainees. And we stood in a line around the windows and read them aloud so that they could hear us inside the building. And so this poem was written for them. It's called I Do Not Know How to Love You in English. I cannot tell by its rhythm where this heart was born. It is only music pulsing through palms. We know this when we hold hands. Let whispers tickle ears, whatever language they assume. I do not know how to cry in English. No sé cómo llorar en español. Tears are born world citizens. They do not need to speak to find each other, to rush into rivers that cannot be dammed. I will not ask the wind where it is from. It would only answer with its coming and going, does not recognize these fences or lines, does not even see them. I will not ask the monarchs for a passport, will not pinch them from the air and pin them for their passage, will not shoot them as they fly away. I will not shush the roaring seas beating upon the border from another nation's shore, will not pretend its origin is worth less or more. We are each of us worth our weight in water or in papeles. I will not ask each grain of sand from whence it came, will not interrogate the sediments and segregate them by shade. I will not cast a net around the beaches. I do not know how to love you in English. No sé cómo amarte en inglés. Only know that all life begins with love that cannot be walled or conquered. I do not know where love comes from. Only know that it resides in me, in the descansos dotting the desert. I do not know what language bullets speak. Have only ever heard them whisper past my head in words I do not wish to remember or repeat. Would rather press palm to palm and whisper poems. Give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Would rather smile, warm as stew-filled belly, and break bread. I will not ask the flames I cook with for identification when they burn more orange than red, white, or blue, as I do not know how to eat in English. No sé cómo comer en español. I do not know how to breathe in English. No sé cómo respirar en español. I do not know how to bleed in English. No sé cómo sangrar en español, but I think it is the same. Creo que es lo mismo con mis palabras y con mi lengua rota. Yo trato de hablar with my words, and with my broken tongue, I try to speak. So, they genuinely are all love poems, I promise. They really are. Do I have any questions, comments, concerns before we... You guys are so quiet. Nobody? Nobody? I'm gonna give you guys like a haiku challenge or something. I mean, I can keep talking. I do this. I walk around talking to myself all day, every day. I do it so often. So the life of a writer is pretty isolated. So you end up talking to yourself and being a super weirdo, which is fine with me. I can do that, it's all right. But there are a few things that, well, since we're there, I think we're doing this. Yeah, we are. So I always write set lists out for myself as if that's actually what I'm going to do. It is never what I actually do. Sometimes other poems come knocking on your teeth, and so that's just what has to get done. So I'll start this one out with a short haiku. This is haiku for civilians. Ashes cling to skin as mothers to charred children, residue of war. To our warmongers and unapologetic conquerors, I don't want to go to war with you. Would rather raise my babies, grow our food, and continue on like so many other women in the world, but you have polluted our soil. Our land is fertilized with the bodies of civilians, the earth soaked through with blood of women and children. Doesn't matter now what nation they were killed in, the ocean tides are washing them ashore, and I hear them, smell their ashes in the wind every 4th of July. I hear them coming. Will not stand with you when they do. Their blood is on my hands as long as I am near you. I have written letters, have rallied and organized and spoken out. I have voted and only find the lines in the sand drawn more clearly. It is love or it is murder. I am walking the fence between the two, ever more certain that I must reduce the weight of your heavy hand or relieve you of your heavy head. It is my head too now, fashioned you upon my shoulders and marched, trudged, buckled beneath your weight, humming Yankee Doodle all the while. How can we pretend now that we are separate? Suckling from the same marrow, you have given birth to me, nursed me with the same immunity for compassion. Perhaps your mother weaned you too soon. The disconnect from human flesh left you seeking a warmth that can only be found inside other people's bodies. There is a remedy for this. I am offering up my nurturing. No, I am the softest place, can coax the violence brewing in the sum of your man parts and ease it, can show you ways to feel the warmth of a person without splitting them in half. You must not know this trick yet. I can teach you. I must teach you. I see. I'm becoming more like you each day. You should be proud and terrified. Lady Liberty and I have been talking lately, and I've been raising questions of the responsibility and my own ability to kill, and I am becoming less frightened of the answer. I tell her it is hard to believe in the power of words when you refuse to listen, so I am wrapping up my language in sticks and stones and launching. I tell her your brutality has made me both murderer and prostitute. You should not be shocked when there are only two things I can properly do. I am willing to get close enough to feel your breath, the weight of your hands. I'll keep your body as my talisman, your ears as souvenir. Whisper warning to them when other heads begin to grow back in their place. We women are not afraid of a little blood. We'll kill you close enough to touch you. I do not want to believe that ending your life is the only solution. I long to believe that beneath your smug demeanor there is something almost human. I need to believe that if offered enough love, you will choose it. And I am offering the best I know how to give. My love is good. I am convinced of this. It is strong enough to make a man change his ways. I am offering you a chance to change your ways. And I wonder, when I have one palm open against your cheek, a razor in the other hand pressed firmly to your fat neck, if you will seem more human to me, if I will be able to make you hear me. I need you to hear me. I need you to know that the only blood you are entitled to is your own, if I have to make you choke on it. And I can do it. I know I can do it. Please, don't make me do it. So, any questions, comments, concerns? Oh, now we have one. Okay, thank you. Oh dear, they come knocking whenever they come knocking. So I could be, on a crowded airplane, or ideally, I can be at home with notebook in hand and ready to roll. But really, for me, the writing process, Ideally, I write every day, and I write terrible poems every day. And that is the challenge, to write terrible poems every day. And then the more terrible poems that you write, the more gems will eventually emerge. It's just how it goes. So I started a club with a few friends of mine this year, and we are called the Jerk Life Rejects Club. And so publishing can be a challenge. Has anyone ever had some work published or attempted to? It's a little bit of a challenge, right? You have to get used to, if you're a writer, you've got to get pretty thick skin, and you get rejected a lot. So it was a way to challenge ourselves to submit more, so it's a race. So throughout this year, the person at the end of the year that has the most rejection letters wins, and everyone else has to throw them a party and buy them a gift. And so that's the game. Ideally, the person with the most rejections will probably also have the most acceptances, but it might not go that way. We'll see what happens. So that's the Jerk Life Rejects Club. But it's the same way with writing, I think. You have to give yourself permission to write terrible poetry so you can eventually write some good poetry. Yes?
Do you write all beat poetry, or do you write normal, like non-beat poetry as well?
I don't know if what I write is beat. But I see where you're going. I do write some. Oh, I write the occasional sonnet. I do write some form poetry. I might read you a form poem tonight. We'll see. So I do write a little bit of form, but for me, okay. So writing form poetry, sometimes it's very, very specific, and there are a lot of rules. And so I am writing something that I think. I'm so excited that I'm coloring within the lines that I don't realize that everything within the lines is horrible. But I'm so excited that I'm following the iambic pentameter, and I'm following the rhyme scheme, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and so it's all there, and like, yay, I just did that. And then you read it, and it's like, oh, but it's awful. So there's that. So I really enjoy the freedom to do what I want. I also, I do write rhyming verses occasionally. I also rap occasionally, so that is a pretty specific rhyme scheme that it has to fit into. It's typically, 16 bars. So all of that happens for me. But most of my poems are very, very free form. I did just finish a collection of poems that are all very specific form, though. So we'll see how that goes. That's Jerk Life Rejects Club. We'll see what happens. So have I terrified anyone yet? You guys all right? I'm glad we're talking. Makes me happy. So, yeah, while we're all I think we're gonna do this. While we're in it. You know what? I think it's too soon. I don't want to freak you guys out yet. Maybe we'll do something gentle. Should we do something gentle? So I mentioned that I occasionally rap. So this is a newish song. It might be awkward for me to perform this a cappella. Are we okay with awkward right now? Is that okay if I get a little awkward? Okay, I'm going to do my best to perform this a cappella. We'll see how it goes. I am a sleeping giant. There lives a riot in my bones. I am a mouthful of seed. I am a quiet indigo dawn. Sometimes hope's the only space between your face and a hard rock, and prayer's the only major in the school of the hard knocks. Blisters on my feet from seeking walking for blocks, but I can tell the light from shadow, hear the truth when it talks. I'm so moved, I remove both of my shoes, shake out the rocks, embrace myself for the walk, and it's a long road, but my spirit is ready. I'm laying down my armor, 'cause it's gotten too heavy. I am a sleeping giant. This is the quiet that I chose. I am a cactus flower. I am the morning when monsoon has gone. The only real constant in my life is me. I change pace and change lanes, still in the driver's seat. Slay demons, smash walls when they blocking me. Hiding weapons for the words while I'm looking for peace. I hold my peace, I said my peace. I seek the east for new horizons. I'm climbing, crying, wild and trying to find the highest. Dying to find the light beyond the brightest. I try to be that beacon you've been seeking. I'm dispelling all the shadows. The sun, the moon, the stars commune to show you where the light goes, how the wind blows and the earth turns and the river runs and the fire burns. And I'm still here, and I'm still now, like lightning is urgent and thunder is loud. I am a sleeping giant. There lives a riot in my bones. I am a mouthful of seed. I am a quiet indigo dawn. These old winds stirring up the ground around me. Some said freedom must have come and found me, 'cause I've been breaking up what bound me around here so I can breathe. I am a sleeping giant. This is the quiet that I chose. I am a cactus flower. I am the morning when monsoon has gone. It might have been, now that I'm done, I'm like, oh, it might have been less awkward if I had asked someone to come up here and drum, huh? Oh, Suzie Q. Next time, Gadget. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns? We good? Oh, Marcus.
What's the difference with when you're writing, like the motives when you're writing poetry?
They come to me the way that they come. I find, though, typically if I'm writing verses and I'm writing form of any sort, it works a lot better if I type it, because I'm a lot more in my left brain when I'm typing and I'm in front of a computer, so the structure is sort of there. I'm a lot more linear. And so, particularly writing verses, it requires that structure. So for me, it helps a lot to have the linear thinking, and the computer really works for me well. Whereas with writing poetry, a lot of it I have to write longhand and still feel that pen moving. There's something about just the motion of the pen that sort of unlocks my creativity or something, I don't know. And I generally, so I write a solid page of garbage usually. It's just awful, whatever it is. It's awful, awful, awful. I kind of look at it like when I cook, I have to have a clean kitchen first, right? You know what I mean? So it's like I can't really go into a dirty kitchen and just get to it, right? So I have to wash those dishes first, and I have to clean off the counter, and I have to give myself the workspace to get everything done. So for me, that's how I look at when I'm writing poetry longhand. That first page, that's washing the dishes. That's getting all the junk out of the way so that I can finally get down to the business of what I'm really there to do, right? And so that's typically how it works for me. But it's a lot easier for me to rhyme when I'm writing on the computer, because I'm a lot more structured in my thinking. I don't know why. That's how it works for me. It's not true for everyone. Whatever works for you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Can I read you something new? Okay. So yeah, we've been talking a little bit about Black history. You know, I'm actually Black every day, so I celebrate all the time. And, you know, I have a lot of interesting experiences every day. And again, I mentioned, so people have interesting reactions to me everywhere I go, all the time, right? And some of those reactions are pretty racist, actually. So this piece is sort of how I digest those things. This is not subtle. It's called Black Rage in 4-part harmony. One. I am easy black, indie black, light black, like black light, your black friend, so cliche, your only black employee, want me to be your soundtrack, want me to be your ghostwriter, want me to give you permission, want to touch my hair, want to end of summer compare skin tones, I always lose, still blacker than you will follow me through the store, offer to hold my things at the counter until I am ready to check out, but you will still ride the elevator and will probably not clutch your purse. I listen to gangster rap loud with the windows down when I drive through your neighborhood. I have stolen your boyfriends on purpose to shame you, or at least glances from them. I have balled up my tongue into Gatling gun, spit sour nickels into a sack and hit you with it. It never lashes the same way as nigger, no matter how hard I whip my words. 2. My grandmother instructed us all hard molasses the first time strangers referred to us as Negro children. It was a word we had not heard before. Around this house, we are black. She spoke easy as hot comb smoking, smooth blue magic, sharp surprise of burnt ears and stinging sit still. Around our Sunday afternoon table, we used to smile into each other's black faces. We laughed magnificent black and loved each other with an unbreakable blackness. We blacked music and ate to its rhythm, blacked mismatched dishes, blacked each other's hair and fingernails, blacked double dutch and song, blacked bicycles harder and faster than the whole neighborhood, blacked wrong and right answers, blacked yes please, blacked no thank you, blacked only the most delicious black, all the time blacking. My mother still wants to believe that I could white the same way, a flash of teeth, a sprinkle of freckle. I tell her that most white people only want me white when they want to win an argument. Strangers still ask me sometimes what I am. They often preface the question with, I mean, I can see you have some black in you. I laugh blackly, not minding the question so much as their expectation of an answer. I am the end of the pool that no one is afraid of until the bottom drops out. Sometimes this light skin gets me invited to parties that I am not really welcome at. 3. Why you so mad? Why you so mad? Why you got a chip on your shoulder? Why you so mad? Why you can't just swallow stones till you stop being hungry? Why you can't just smile? Why you can't just dance? Why you can't just drink? Why you can't just forget your name, his name, their names? I mean, we made you an exception. We let you slide. We might even let you pass. So why you gotta be so mad? Why you got your chest puffed up after we put the fire hoses away? Why you can't just shake your head and suck your teeth and look to your own and forget that everybody is your own? Why you can't just shuck? Why you can't just shrug? Why you can't just laugh? Why you can't just keep it pushing? We were only joking, all present company excluded all, but you're not like that, Suzie. I mean, all I said was ghetto, all I said was ratchet, all I said was nappy. Why you can't just relax? Why you can't just press and curl? Why you can't just pop your booty? Why you can't just twerk? Why you can't just drop it? Everybody's dropping it. Why you can't just burn slow at both ends quiet? Why you gotta explode all shrapnel in my eye? Why you so mad? Why you so mad? Why you so mad? Why you so black? 4. There are 3 basic ways to make a noose. The first is to run the tail of the rope through a fixed loop. The second, and most common way, is to tie a simple knot round the standing part of the rope. When pulled, the knot side closes the loop, the heel of a hand pressed against an easy throat, a gate left foolishly swinging open. The third is the same as the second, except that pulling the knot will open the loop like a string on a yo-yo. This is usually only done by mistake. This is not a promise, only finger and thumb unraveling, a tongue tying and untying, interlaced fingers and knots. It is hushed whispers over a fledgling tree that everyone knows was watered with blood, except, of course, the tree. Wonders why her arms grow out so snatching, why she shake them loose when they fool enough to climb, menacing into her afro leaves, why everyone knows she is too hungry a place for her children to swing. Black people, once freed, did not gather in mobs and hunt despite all the same access to trees and rope. I know, it's a lot. Yes. Did I terrify you? All right. Let's talk about it. It's okay. We can talk about it. I know. You guys were like, I think all the air left the room. So it's, questions, comments, concerns. No, everyone, okay. Yes. Oh, I do. Oh, I do both. I do. I'm a passionate person in general. And sometimes it's nice and handy to have things in a condensed form, because when I find myself saying the same thing over and over to people, I can say, please refer to my book, page 38. I don't want to talk to you about this anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to tell you all the reasons you're wrong. I'm just going to tell you how I feel. And if you want to know, it's condensed. It's 27 lines right there. Just do that. Saves a lot of time. And I have a pretty fortunate position of being an artist full time, and so I don't really have to go into too many spaces. I get to live in a bubble pretty much, so there aren't too many spaces that I have to pretend to be anything other than exactly myself all the time, which is probably the most beautiful gift I've ever been given.
How do you have that ability to be an artist?
It's a lot. It's been, I think everyone's journey is a little bit strange and different. So I do a lot of performing. I had a show last night, and I'm here tonight. I have another one tomorrow night. I'm on the road probably 2 weeks a month. So there's that. So between poetry, I also perform music, and I also teach. So I teach workshops, primarily poetry, but also music, lyricism, etc. So between all of those things, I'm also in a cover band. So there's that. I'm in an all-girl cover group of, and you guys might be too young to appreciate this, but I'm in it's all-female cover group of the Wu-Tang Clan. You guys know Wu-Tang? Yeah, a little bit. So I get to be Method Man. It is probably the most fun I've ever gotten to have in my entire life. So yeah, I do all sorts of things. So that's one of the things that definitely makes you grow and stretch when you're completely reliant on your income as an artist. When people offer you strange projects like, hey, we want to do this all-female tribute to the Wu-Tang Clan. You want to be Method Man? I'm like, of course I do, right? Absolutely, and it has absolutely been a pretty delightful experience, actually. So, yeah. I cannot be Method Man tonight. Strict contractual obligations prevent me from performing any Wu-Tang lyrics outside of Lady Wu-Tang. So, if the whole group was here, we'd be happy to. But as it's just me, I'm afraid not. But you can find a lot of YouTube clips. If you look up Lady Wu-Tang, you can find some of our videos. So yeah, people have a lot of feelings about that. It's an interesting, being a woman in hip hop right now is really, really interesting. People have so many feelings, especially about Wu-Tang. It is the most masculine group in the entire world in all of time. It's the most, and so a lot of men get very sensitive when you touch their Wu-Tang. They get really, really upset about it. Yeah. But the Wu-Tang Clan themselves are actually fine with it, and they like it. We've gotten to do a couple shows with Raekwon and Ghostface Killah. I'm saying a lot of random things if you have no idea who I'm talking about, but then if you're a Wu-Tang fan, then you're like, yes. So I don't want to digress too much, but yeah.